Hello again, this is Professor Hasse. This is as we conclude our week number 5 of Business 600A, Accounting and Finance. I'd like to have this video to introduce you to our case study, which has been posted to Blackboard and is due on March 19th. This case study is a combination of accounting work without the journal entries, knowing the financial statements, and interpreting and explaining the financial statements in terms of what they tell you about a company. And that's our job here in this case study, and I'll talk about that today as we move forward in our class. This case paper is worth 20% of your course grade. Again, it's due March 19th, but you also have the availability of an extension if you need extra time. It is designed for you to interpret financial statement information and to explain it in terms of the company that you all selected. All of you at the beginning of our class selected a company, and you are to go to their financial statements as of the end of their most recent fiscal year, which for those companies primarily will be December 31st, 2022, and also the previous fiscal year, in this case, December 31st, 2021, and locate one analytical equation from 4 sections of our study. And now, if remember in our study of earlier this week in 5, we talked about financial statement analysis, liquidity, solvency, profitability, market perspective. And these are on pages 512 and 517. You are to pick one equation from those, and I'm going to show those to you in just a minute. And then you're asked to interpret those and answer the following interpretation. Has the firm improved its performance from the previous year? Is the firm managed efficiently? As a potential investor, would you consider this a stock you would purchase? That's the basis of your analysis to answer those 3 questions. The 3 questions are asked to determine the financial or overall performance of the company, and you are to put these in an APA formatted paper, not to exceed 10 pages, but roughly around 5 pages. Now remember, an APA format has a title page, an abstract page where you introduce your subject. It has your actual interpretation of the material, and then it has a reference page. So right there's 3 or 4 pages before you even wrote anything. So again, APA format, many of you have done this before. If you need any help, here's a link that explains the APA format, and then also I will go over again in our class. We will also be having a review session for this paper on Saturday, March 11th at 1 p.m. via Zoom. Now, you are welcome to come online via Zoom and listen to my review presentation, or you can just watch the video after I post it on that Saturday afternoon session. I'll be going through the basic setup and fundamentals of what I'll be looking for in this case paper. This case paper is designed for the MBA student to interpret financial statement data, which is the result of accounting transactions, and then interpret that to comment on the financial management of the company. So that's why this is a great case paper for our course. It combines both 2 sections, accounting and finance. So again, it's due in 2 weeks, March 19th, but there is additional time available for extension. Now remember, you're all finishing up assignment 3 this week with about closing entries of accounting, which is due Sunday, March 5th. Then you have assignment number 4, which will be posted on Sunday, March 5th, and due March 19th, assignment number 4, which will be about financial statement interpretation and the statement of cash flows. And then you'll have the company assessment paper, which will be due March 19th, this paper here. So for the next 4 weeks, March 5th, March 12th, March 19th, and March 26th, you will have assessment work to be done. 2 assignments, a paper, and the final examination of March 26th, that last week. So lots of work to do. I'll be around on Thursday evenings for our student hours. We'll also be having a review session next Saturday, which will be concentrating mainly on the case paper. But if any of you have any other questions, you can come online on next Saturday and ask those questions. So that's what we have going forward. Now let's take a look at what am I looking for in these one analytical equation for this analysis. So as I indicated in the case paper, on pages 512 to 517 are the sections of liquidity and efficiency, solvency, profitability, and market prospects. You are to take one equation from this analysis. For example, here's page 512 of your textbook, which is in chapter 13. It talks about liquidity and efficiency. All right, here are samples of the equations I would like you to select. Remember, only select one from each section: working capital and current ratio. Okay, acid test ratio, accounts receivable turnover, inventory turnover, days sales collected. Again, numerous examples of liquidity and efficiency. To be perfectly honest with you, most students in the past took the current ratio. It's the easiest one to do, but you can take any ratio that you want, any analysis within this section, find those indicators for the fiscal year 12/31/22 and 12/31/21, and what does that tell you about this company as far as their performance and efficiency. Then the second section is solvency. Again, pick one equation from this analysis: debt ratio, debt to equity ratio, times interest earned. Those are the three ratios that you can select to pick one for your analysis. The third section is profitability. Here it is right here: gross margin ratio, profit margin, return on total assets, and so on. Now, again, all of these have been discussed in my video of last week. You might want to pick one of those from that video, but here they are right here that you select one. And the final section is on market prospects, which is the price earnings ratio, the dividend yield, those two. And here's a summary of those ratios right here and their equations. And you are to select one from each one of those. Now, probably most of you will take the price earnings ratio for your company. A lot of companies will provide a lot of this data and these ratios already for you, and you can do a little research to find those, or you can calculate them yourself. All right. So that's where you go in the textbook, pages 512 to 517, to find those equations that you select for your paper. So again, your project case paper is located in this file folder called Project Paper. And there is I give you both a Word doc and a PDF version explaining the case, and then a listing of our students in our class and what companies that they'll be working on, just so all of you can see that, and the information about the work. Remember, this is an APA format, minimum 5 pages, maximum 10 pages, Times New Roman 12-point font, double spaced your paper. I'll grade you if those are, I grade you on that designation. Times New Roman 12-point font, double space. Okay. Again, this is part of your MBA study to be able to analyze, interpret information from the real world and put it in a format that the reader can understand your interpretations and your explanations. Do not feel that you have to give me the financial statements of these companies in your paper to show me where you got the information. Probably the best thing would just show me your calculations with that information in the paper. Then your interpretation and and reasoning behind that. So you would maybe do a chart or a spreadsheet showing 2022, 2021 fiscal year, and all these subsequent equations and information, and then explain to me that. Do not feel that you have to cut and paste the balance sheet, the income statement, or the statement of cash flow in your paper. That just takes up too much space, and I already have access to that information. I want to see your analysis of the data and how you calculate it. That's the important part. Now, if you go in to to the company's website or to some other source and it gives you those data numbers, just show me in your paper, in your references, where you've received and obtained those financial data information, and then you explain those interpretations in your paper. So that's what we're doing here. That is project case paper due March 19th. And if you remember, as I said earlier, we do have a variety of cases coming up. Assignment 3 due this Sunday, assignment 4, which will be posted this Sunday, March 5th, due March 12th, which will be practice for some respects for this case paper, because we'll be asking you to do some financial statement interpretation and analysis. Your case paper that we just talked about, and then your final examination posted on Sunday the 19th and due on the 26th, which will encompass questions from especially the finance side of our work, the second half, and a couple of accounting questions as well in the final examination. So a lot of work to do, but we're available for your help. Another thing that you might be aware of this week is that our Career Services Department will be having a Career Services availability for an appointment, that you can make an appointment to talk about career services, job markets, all kinds of stuff. Here is a link and some information in that regard for your career services, if you so desire, as MBA students in our program. So this is also located in our course syllabus and information section of Blackboard. So again, we have a March 11th review session, and I'll put more of that information out in my week number 6 introduction video this weekend. Now remember, you have your assignment 3 due this weekend on Sunday, March 5th. If you do need extensions, let me know prior to the due date or due hour, midnight. Remember, this is an assignment where you're doing all your work again on a spreadsheet that I provided. Here's the adjusted trial balance given to you. You use this adjusted trial balance to prepare the income statement on one tab, the statement of retained earnings, the classified balance sheet, prepare the closing journal entries, and prepare a post-closing trial balance after those temporary accounts are closed to go forward into the next year. So these tabs, income statement, balance sheet, retained earnings statement, balance sheet, closing journal entries, naturally the date will be December 31st, and the post-closing trial balance. Those are the tabs you need to complete. 5 tabs with this work that you to post this weekend. Any questions on that? I'm available all weekend. We did subsequent problems and information on that in week 4 of our class. So if you need any help, please feel free to let me know. So you are updated as of this weekend. At the end of week number 5, you have your assignment 3, and some of you have already completed it and posted it. I'll be grading that as soon as I can. You have your case study paper, which is due in 2 weeks, which you now has posted, and you can begin to review and do that. And we have our week 6 work coming up this next week, where we take a look at the world of financial management. Have a great weekend, everybody. Talk to you soon. Adios.